Hello, namaste, sat sri akal, good evening. Welcome to the SS Chandhok Talk Show. I'm your host and moderator, SS Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here to discuss about a very important topic. It was a very beautiful today, even because we had 10th and 12th board results, along with which the principals were very busy. But the show must go on. We should keep on thinking and talking about the benefit of the students. So the eminent guests are present over here. First of all, I'll introduce you to the very special and eminent guest, Mr. Ashok Vaid, sir. He is the principal of a very renowned institution in Jaipur, which are, a group of schools, Maheshwari Public School, Jaipur. Sir is also the city coordinator of Jaipur South Schools. Welcome, sir. And thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you yesterday evening. And I was just feeling that I know from many years I'm knowing you. And thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. You are doing so many things with the Saudiyas and all the schools and all. Thank you so much, sir. Although you don't need any, although you don't need any introduction, but still, sir, we will like to know, the people who will be seeing this show will like to know about your educational journey and how did it came into mind to come into, you are here by chance or by choice in education, and from a teacher to a senior principal and the city coordinator of Jaipur.
Well, thank you, Chandhok Sahab. You're asking a very, very interesting and personal question because everybody has a different story. Some stories have good ending and some stories have sad endings. I don't know. Well, I did my early schooling from Chandigarh. Then I did my 12th from Jaipur. Then I did my graduation. I topped Raisa University in graduation. Then I did my post-graduation. While doing post-graduation, I joined the school, this MPS, where I'm the principal. I worked here for 1 or 2 years because I was not very serious teacher, I was always thinking, okay, fine, I'll do this, I'll do that, But suddenly, after 3 or 4 years, I realized that I'm not doing very good in this field, There are a lot of students coming to me, a lot of things. I was teaching basically economics. Then after 4 or 5 years, I thought, okay, that if I have to be in this field, I'll go with my B.Ed degree and all that. I finished that. Then around after, when I was 35, when I was 34, I was just feeling, okay, teaching is enough, I can do a lot of other things, So I became principal when I was 34. Okay. Then I became a principal for a new school in Kapil Gyarpid, and I was a principal for 7 years, sorry. Then I went to Malaysia. I was heading 4 international schools in Kuala Lumpur, International Modern Arabic School. Where we had the students from 43 nationals, okay. Then by default came back to India. Again, then I went to Ajmer. We have MPS in Ajmer also. Then there I was a principal for 3 years. Then I came to Jaipur. In this school, I'm 8 years. I'm working in this school. I have more experience as principal than as a teacher, As a principal, I worked for 18 years. As a teacher, I worked only for 12 years, So I worked more for that, And when I applied in Maheshwari Public School, my application was nearly rejected because I was underage, They wanted a principal of 45 plus. I was just 43. But default is always there by God wish. I was there. Then in 2017, I got CBSE National Award. I got CBSE National Award in Delhi in 2017, I think that was the biggest achievement, in education. And that is something which actually satisfies you. That you are also applying for the award, and that is done by Ministry of Human Development and all that. And so after I got that award, I was the secretary in Jaipur Sahodya. Then I was secretary for 2 terms, and then suddenly this time when we had the election, I said, enough, I just want to relax, But they said, okay, now before relaxing, at least become president. So by default, I became the president of Jaipur Sahodya. And that's it. That's what I'm looking for. And when this concept city coordinator came, so my name was given by CBSE. So last 4 years, I'm looking out as a city coordinator of Jaipur and Tonk. And Jaipur is a big district, In Jaipur, you have areas with more than 120 kilometers, 130 kilometers. So at one side from Jaipur itself, So it's a big area where we have more than 200 schools. At the same time, being city coordinator, I'm also CNPS for practicals. I'm city coordinator for CTET examination and basically all those things. And even Monday only, we are going to have a data Vishwajit Saha in our school. And we are going to have this workshop on skill education and how we are promoting the skill education, especially the financial literacy and all that. The whole team of CPC is coming, and this is a very simple journey. There's no much complication in my journey. Chandhok sir, and over to you. Thank you so much for.
Sir, you called it a simple journey, sir.
Hmm.
I mean, so many places, India and abroad, everywhere, but such a wonderful experience you have. 12 years teaching experience and much more experience than that. It takes a lot of time to, come up with the same experience of teaching and principal. And 18 years as principal, and you're ruling Jaipur, sir. I mean, people are knowing you throughout the country. The wonderful work you are doing, sir. You are so famous, you don't know, sir. That is why people are calling you.
It's not that. The only thing is, I do believe in good networking. I keep on doing a lot of workshops. I keep on going to a lot of workshops because what I believe is there's only one thing which is constant. Sir, what I believe, only one thing is constant in this world, and that is the word change, which COVID has taught us. Earlier, to be very honest, Chandhok Sahab, you never knew what is Zoom, what is this.
Right.
And today we are so comfortable. Earlier we used to say, be quiet. And now what we were saying, be loud, be loud. मतलब हमारा सब कुछ change हो गया, life has changed.
बिल्कुल sir, and
we are saying loud.
And we can take an experience during pandemic. I started this, at this age level when people stop taking up the new things. I started up this new thing because you need to change yourself according to the changes and should come forward. Whatever you can spread the education, spread the whatever good things, and came into my mind to bring together the intellectuals. I'm not calling all the principals. I'm calling the intellectual principals from Pan India. You might have seen, sir, also. And I'm calling those principals who have very good knowledge. It doesn't depend upon the level of the school, but who do have very knowledge, and they should share with each other. A lot of things people do get, knowledge from each other. We say that you are senior or I'm not senior, you are junior. It is not like that. You can learn from a 3-year-old child also. So every time when you are doing something, you should have that urge of learning. That is what I'm trying to follow, and coming up with different topics in my show where we can discuss about exact topics which are directly related to the children for the benefit of the children actually. So this came into my mind to start up this show where from ages it had been a phobia of mathematics among the students, especially when they come up to the middle school. We'll talk about that and come up to the next. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Then we'll come up to the next very eminent guest present here today, Reeta Saxena, ma'am. She is the principal of a very loved school in Scholar Mission School. This school has been brought up by her. She has given the birth to the school. She has taken care of the school as a baby. And now the school, it is bringing up a special name, a very good name. And it's giving a tough competition to the schools in all over the city. Ma'am had worked with so many institutions. Few I know. The very prestigious schools where it is a dream of a principal to become a principal, a teacher to become a principal, or a principal to become a principal. She had a lot of experience as a principal, as Sir you have. Likewise, she has a very good experience. We had been seeing her, we had been following her, and it's wonderful talking to her also, like you, sir. I've been knowing, it's so comfortable. She's so down to earth. Whenever you are to her, she helps, and whatever way you feel like, she'll always be there with you. And of course, after the session, I'll be sharing the contact details with each other, and you should stay connected with each other. Thank you, Reeta ma'am, so much for coming up to the show. It's our pleasure you have joined over here. Ma'am, we would like to know more secrets about you. I don't know totally about you. People should know your educational journey. How did you came into education, and from a teacher to a principal and to a senior principal? You have established so many schools, ma'am.
So they will. Just hold
Ma'am,
on.
you're on mute. Yeah.
Sarabpreet, I'm really thankful to you for giving me an opportunity to talk about myself. In fact, there is nothing much to tell about myself. I am just a teacher. In fact, I started my career up. I did my PhD from IIT Kanpur. And then you can imagine it was always a dream to be a teacher once doing a PhD, and that was also in organizational behavior. After that, I got selected through UPSC and was placed as principal at Raza Government Degree College, Aligarh. But I didn't like the atmosphere there anyhow. And I came back to Kanpur, my native place. And I joined Sarabpreet Singh Education Center as class 1 teacher. And that time it was 1992, and I was teaching moral education and art to the students of class 1. After teaching MA, coming back to class 1 is really very, I should not say that it was embarrassing, but it was quite I was comfortable with the small children. Though I was good at teaching there also, but anyhow, family conditions and everything, ladies have to compromise a lot. And I left my UPSC job, and then I came back to Kanpur and became the teacher in Singhania School. It was 1992. My journey started from there, and from a junior teacher to primary teacher to TGT to PGT. Anyway, it was all destiny, and it was 2006. The school has given me promotion, and I was made principal of Singhania School, the sister concern of the same school in Kanpur at Kota. And I shifted because that time my son was in class 10, so I thought learning and earning both together is a good option. So better you shift there. So I shifted to Kota School, and there I have been for 6 years. And 2011, I came back. During that period, I have been the city coordinator for Kota. I represented CBSE. I represented Rajasthan to CBSE. We had so I started Sahodaya over there. That time when it was not very much common about Sahodayas, to have Sahodayas and to help each other and have some that kind of teaching meetings and all, teachers meeting and everything. That time we started there, and we did really very good job because people, I must say, Ashok sir, people in Rajasthan are much more easy to handle than the people here in Kanpur. And it was really wonderful. It was really wonderful time. There lot many inspections and CBSE work and city coordinator. I was city coordinator also, AIEEE, and as a schools for CBSE and AIEEE. That time it was a combined joint venture. So I was there. I did the things that I can do to my level best. Then I shifted to Kanpur in 2011 in the same school. I got transferred to Kanpur School. Then in Singhania School, I have been principal for 2 years. And then I got the opportunity to develop a new school here in Kanpur. That is the Scholar Mission School. And I started the brick and mortar work to the human resource management of that school. And it's doing fine here in the city. But I wish that in coming years, we can do even better. I'm trying my level best, and if it is good for...
it is doing better, it is doing best. And, the culture you have created, the atmosphere you have created in the school, hats off to you. I had been observing that how wonderful you are taking up the school, because you have such a lot of experience.
It's okay, it's fine. Let the time prove it.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise,
Sure.
we are doing fine. Today also,
ma'am, you have opened up a school where nobody had expected. Nobody would have opened the school.
Yeah, it's very far away from the city, and it is surrounded by rural area. But I should say that all the children are not from that particular area where we are having the school. They are coming from the different vicinities.
City also. Yeah.
It means keep fine. We are doing something for the education. Let's see.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming up to the show. Hope to have more talks over in the show. Thank you so much. And the next we have Sunitha, ma'am. She's the principal of Silver Oaks International School in Visakhapatnam. Ma'am also has a very wonderful school in Visakhapatnam. I just saw the photograph of the school. It is wonderful. So I got, sort of fascinated from the school building. I said, ma'am, I have to call ma'am for sure. And from some time I was just looking for her, that ma'am that just gets time because I think, ma'am, you also had started the school from the scratch and you are looking after the school. Ma'am, Sunitha, ma'am, thank you so much. We have come for the first time again to the show. Please let us know about your educational journey, ma'am. How did you started your career and in this Silver Oak School as an principal?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Sunitha Yernagula, principal of Silver Oaks International School, Vizag. So coming to Silver Oaks, we have 5 schools in 3 states, Hyderabad, which we call it as Telangana, and Karnataka, and Vizag, Andhra Pradesh. So the oldest school, that is 20 years old school, and just 1-year-old school in Hyderabad, we have 2 campuses there. And when it comes to Bangalore, Sajapura, we have 10 years old school, which has a continuum of IB, PYP, MYP, and DP2. So it's a IB continuum school there. And we have a 3 years old school in Bangalore too, near Whitefields. So when it comes to Visakhapatnam, we have only 1 campus. And talking about myself, I'm a part of this team since I think yesterday I completed 2 decades. It's been 20 years in the same organization. I joined in 2002 as a grade 1 teacher. It's not like by I like teaching. It's my passion. So from my young age, my aim was to become a teacher. That is what I pitched in as a grade 1 teacher so that I can spend the time with the kids. So slowly I developed. So from a grade 1 teacher to 4, 5, 40 members, science teacher and all. And almost like 6 years, I was the head of the junior wing where I have to lead 4, 5, 6 grades with 50 teachers and supporting staff all together. So later when we started a branch in Vizag, so the management felt I'm the right one to move to Vizag, and it's been 6 years. 2017 is what we started here with 120 students, and now the strength of the school is 1200. And ours is the first IBPYP school in Visakhapatnam. And coming to my passion, I'm a trekker. 10 times I have done trekking in different parts of Himalayas. So every year it's my break, like during the summers, I spend a lot of time trekking. So I love trekking actually. So this is my journey.
Let me tell you, whenever I had been searching for Sunitha ma'am, she had always been in the tracking. I am on Himalayas right now. Please let me come down to the school and I'll join your show. So finally, I was after also, and now fortunately she was in the school and said, ma'am, now you are not in Himalayas, you're not on the tracking. Come and join us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. Next, we have a very interesting person who is the an expert of show, Mr. Nirmal Shah. Let me tell about him formally. He is the co-founder of Countingwell, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. The goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also a designer, career and life lesson maker, he had made courses for the students of age between 10 to 14, built around the maths. Their motto is that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way it is to do that is to show them how to do it. So, informally talking about Nirmal sir, I met him in one of the show where we were co-speakers, and he told me about his app where it came into my mind. Everybody knows that, but it came into my mind that since decades, there always been a fear of mathematics. People talk that whenever you go into a school, when you see a very serious face, you will come to know that he or she is a math teacher. So much of stress is there amongst the math teacher. We had been discussing that math teacher, you can find out of all the odds. So why? Because he has a lot of pressure. But the teacher has a lot of pressure. What about the pressure of the principals? And let me tell you, Vaid sir, that I had been calling few of the principals for the math topic. So they say that we love to come to your show, sir, again and again. But nah, maths, no, Baba, no. It's not our forte. We cannot come into that. So I do say them that we are not talking about mathematics. We are not solving questions over here. See, at the level of principal administrator, when you are having a phobia of mathematics, what about the students? What about the teachers? And at the very same time, few of the principals that came, we had that phobia during our school time. when we were studying. We don't want that to be carried forward to the students. We will surely join the show and we'll come to know the reasons and the solutions for that. So some come like this only. So maths has become a very big phobia sort of thing for the students since ages. So when I met sir also, I said, sir, hats off to you. Instead of going into any other subject, you went into mathematics, and that too from the middle school. So he said, why I started from the middle school is because till grade 5 children, they enjoy mathematics, but 6th class onwards, when the syllabus increases, a lot of pressure is there from the all the stakeholders, from the parents also, from the teachers also. Now it is going to be a very difficult thing for him. We're not having it normal. So that comes into mind of the child, now maths is going to be a very difficult thing for me, and gradually becomes a phobia. Teacher is going into the old tradition methods and going into the classes and just writing 3-4 sums over there on the blackboard, and he's saying, okay, the exercise is over. So this is a problem where the children are not able to understand it properly. So there are different ways, there are reasons, there are different ways or in which that this problem can be solved. The teachers, they have an excuse. In a 40 minutes class of 40 students, how can we pay attention to all the students? So here we have a Santa Claus with us who has a gift of mathematics for us, or that how these AI based tools which have come after the pandemic, especially how they're helping it. And let me tell you, sir has brought this app for free because they're not charging anything as of now. But still, sir, we'll come. Thank you so much for coming once again. First of all, tell us, how did it came into your mind to start up with mathematics, and that too from the middle school? And what is actually this Countingwell? How it is helping? I mean, why should the schools, maybe you are giving it for free, but why should schools use it? How it is helping the school teachers as well as the students? Over to you, sir.
Sure, sir. Always a pleasure to be on your show, and every episode has been a great learning experience and great interactions with so many administrators and principals. So it's always wonderful to be back here. Why we started Countingwell is very interesting. And of course, I've been telling this story on several of your episodes, but I will repeat it because this is out of personal experience, right? So when my son got into 6th grade, I could see a change in his attitude towards studies as a whole, but particularly towards mathematics. Whereas in up to 5th grade, or even 6th grade actually, he would get very excited when he came home from school. He would immediately used to have a small table that he could keep on the floor and write. So he would take that table, take out his books and start doing the homework. But what I started seeing is that in the middle school, that started changing. First would be the excuse that I am hungry, so we would feed him. Then would be the excuse that now it is time for me to play because my friends are playing, so let me play with them, then I will come back and do my homework. Then after playing, I'm tired. Then after tired, I'm hungry again because it's dinner time. Then it is TV time. So that homework had to be pushed into him. So I was wondering that is there really a problem that he has changed, or is there something else which has changed, right? Because in 1 year from 5th to 6th, why did this kind of change happen? And I particularly zeroed in on maths because, of course, as a parent also, we see that, maths is a very important subject for children. We want them to do well in maths. Even if they don't score 100 on 100, they have to be good with maths, good with numbers. So I tried to understand and analyze what is really going on here. And what I found is that now that there are multiple concepts which are getting mixed up and he's starting to see word problems, he is starting to have problems in solving these problems. And because he's not able to solve and he's not able to get the right answer, he is feeling unenthusiastic about the subject. So one thing which I realized is that, of course, maths is something where we keep pushing that you have to have the right answer or wrong answer. There is nothing in between. And it's like a black and white as far as maths is concerned. So that was one thing which triggered that anxiety, that if I don't get it right, then I'm wrong, right? And the second thing which I realized is that there are multiple steps which are required, especially from middle school, when they start solving these problems. So for example, one is they have to understand the problem in the first place. It is a language issue as well as a maths issue. And this is something which the maths teacher does not put too much attention to, right? So what we found is that he has to understand long word problems. He has to understand those statements and then find out what he has to solve before actually trying to solve the problem. But what they actually did, the children did, was they immediately tried to relate it to some concept which is taught in the class. Typically, the problem would be end of a chapter. So if it is in the triangles chapter, they know it is triangle related. So they immediately try to relate it to the triangle concept and try to solve the problem. So they did not try to actually relate it to maths. They did not try to relate it to different math concepts. They just said, if it is in this chapter, I will use this concept and I will try to solve the problem. So they did not try to understand the problem. They did not try to structure a solution. They simply went into solving the problem. And this is where, when they came to the exams, they had trouble, because exam would never say that this is a triangle chapter problem, right? There is just a problem statement. And when they try to solve the problem, they don't know what chapter it is. And now they have to use all this, logical, analytical skills to try to understand what is the statement, what is the information available, what is the concept, maybe multiple concepts are getting mixed. So based on all that, what we said is that let's try and figure out that are we able to determine what are the areas where this child is having trouble in terms of solving maths problems. And then we got a few of his friends also together and we kind of gave them a paper pencil test. So we said, we will give you different problems and we will try to analyze where you're going wrong. And what we found is that language comprehension was a big issue with these children. They were not able to understand the problem statement. The second one was what we called as modeling, where they are not able to structure a solution or they are not able to arrive at a strategy to solve the problem. So if you don't have a strategy and you straight away jump into calculation, then you are very likely to get that final answer wrong. And if you get the final answer wrong, then your whole solution is wrong, and then you get 0 marks, and then the phobia and all that, right? So this is where we found that these are the problems. So now I come from an IT background. My co-founder also comes from a similar background. So we said, can we create a software solution for this? So, created a kind of assessment which was done online. And we went to a few schools and we said, we would like to do this as a pilot in your school. And we will give you all these reports. So we did the pilot, right? So we had about 1,500 students in 4 different schools, class 6 to 8, trying to take these kind of assessments. And then we went back with the reports to these schools. Now, when we showed the reports, the principals agreed. I mean, they saw the light. They understood that, yes, language comprehension is a problem. Modeling is a problem. Intuitively, they knew that this is a problem, but it never came out on paper, right? There was no proper report to say that. But they always knew. Now, what they said was that, आप लोग ये problem तो बता रहे हो, ये सारे बैठ के problem ही बताते रहते हैं हमको. What is the solution? How do we fix this problem? Right? So that's where we decided that Countingwell has to be more than just something which will give you the problem statement, right? It has to be a fix for the problem. And that fix cannot be something where we do it only for the children or only for the schools. It has to be integrated. So it has to be a part of that school learning or classroom learning. And that's where, we call it a true blended approach, right? What is taught in the class then kind of extends into what can be done with something like Countingwell. And that becomes a whole cycle of learning, assessment, fixing these kind of issues that the children have, and then going back to learning. So that's how we created this whole solution. We did this before the pandemic. And interestingly, it did not work very well during the pandemic, because what happened was that it was designed to be a part of the classroom. It was not designed to be standalone. So because of the pandemic, we made it available to the students directly instead of going to schools. And even then, about 75, 80,000 students used the app and they found a benefit from it. But it was an individual solution. What we found is that it is most ideal when the whole classroom can take it up, because now the teacher can give very, very personalized attention. And I'll get into that later, too much talking right now. But, so that was the idea. So the whole idea was that we have to be able to identify that problem. We have to be able to give the solution, and we have to be able to make the teacher, the school, and the child a part of that whole process. So that's what Countingwell is.
That's good. Although it happened when you went for the assessment of the kids, you took the assessment of the teachers also.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
We did that. So some of the principals were very curious. So they said that, can you do an assessment of our teachers? Give them the same assessment what you have given to students. Now, we gave that assessment. And one obvious thing came out is that whatever misconceptions the children had, the same misconceptions even the teachers had. But we found something even more interesting here. So one of the teachers, she called me and she said that you have given me a sixth grade problem. I am an eighth grade teacher. So as an eighth grade teacher, I do not take this topic, so I cannot solve this problem. And this was to us because, why would, especially with maths, right? You know that what is taught in sixth goes to eighth, and what is taught in seventh goes to ninth, and so on. That is how it is structured. But why is this teacher doing that? But then we realized that even the teachers are working in that very, very, blinders on kind of mode. This is the chapter I have to teach, and this is all I will teach. This is all I will know. I will not go beyond that. So, and that is why, going back to this, that Countingwell has to be a part of the school and teachers solution as well, because we have to show them that, you have to go beyond that, but we also have to give them the tools to go beyond that.
Yeah, it was quite surprising when a class 8 teacher, grade 8 teacher has given a question of grade 6, he or she is not able to do. Just only excuses, I'm teaching in class 8, so I cannot do that question of, the class before you can do that. Okay, you cannot do for the 9th or 10th grade, but if you're teaching in class 8, you can do up the questions of grade 6 and 7 for sure. But again, the thing is, they are learning that, and that learning is going on, not understanding is going on to the students. That is why this phobia, that is going on since ages. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. We'll talk much about that and have some, knowledge from you, because you are from the other part of the industry where so many things are developing. You are very right. Before pandemic, we were not taking it serious because we should go for offline only. But after pandemic, thanks to technology, which has come 10 years before, this was the only positivity about pandemic, that this technology came 10 years before it had to come. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir, and welcome, sir. We'll come up to the next round, and I won't say just question round, it will be a suggestion round. The first suggestion I'd like to have from Ashok Vaid sir. Vaid sir, we will like to know your views on the saying that mathematics becomes a subject of fear in middle school instead of fun. What are your views on this, sir? Sir, you're on mute.
No, this is again a new normal, mute and unmute, we have learned in pandemic, The thing is that mathematics, as Nirmal sir was saying, we ourselves had made it very difficult. It is not so difficult how much we have created it difficulty, And there are reasons for it. I'll give you my example, When I was in class 9th or 10th, my elder brother told me that in geometry is very simple. You have to write given to proof, and you get half marks. मतलब 5 number में 2.5 number आ जाएंगे. Just write given, to, proof, and construction, and half marks आ जाएंगे. I said, okay, fine. हम तो brilliant हो गए, because that we were quite good in English, so I could understand that. Then he told me, okay, theorem number 7, 14, 21, 28, 35 are very important. They will definitely come in the examination. I said, fine, okay, very simple. I took the book and IC Dingra, whatever the book was, NCERT that time, and I learned those theories. Understand? I learned those theory. I never understood those theory. I learned those theory, And I still remember 21, 28, these theory are of some circle, 28 some rectangle, all those things. Then I told, during examination, I used to tell my partner sitting next to me, I said, don't worry, we will not do copying, we will not do cheating. But to एक काम करना, कहती क्या? मैं just tell me theory number कौन सी है ये? Which theory number is this? If you can tell me which theory number is this, I will do. So, जैसे paper start होता था, she used to show me Ashok 1421, 728. Bas, I used to write. Okay. Once I was told that there is a very important question that prove that under root 2 is not a rational number. Okay. We used to prove by contradictory method. Okay. I learned that method. And the examination, the question came, prove that under root 3 is not a rational number. But I had learned under root 2. So how can I write under root 3? My teacher's name was I.D. Sharma. I wrote I.D.'s theorem cannot be proved in the course. So why it is out of the course? Because I had learned under root 2. So under root 2 should have come. But that teacher gave under root 3. Okay. So these were the two examples which I actually give to my students, that we did made it difficult. It is not so difficult. Normally, I go for a lot of rounds and all that. Just a few days back, I went for a round. And I asked the question it was class 9th or 10th. I don't remember, maybe 9th or 10th. It's a recent example. And Madam Sunitha, Madam Reeta, Madam Sir Nirmal and Chandhok Sahab, Suniyasko. I asked a question of 9th class student, do you know tables? They said, yes, sir. We know tables. I said, okay, tell me what is 2 into 5? Everybody said 2 into 5 is 10. Very simple. They said, yeah, principal has gone mad. In 10th class, he is asking us what is 2 into 5. I said, okay, but I said 10 is okay. But according to me, you are wrong, because 2 into 5 is 9. They said, no, sir, we have learned 2 1 2, 2 2 4, 2 3 6. I said, no, 2 into 5 is 9. Now you prove that 2 into 5 is 10. If you prove, I'll say you are right. And believe me, out of 40, 45 students, only 5 were the students who raised their hands, because they knew what is addition and what is multiplication. Bakiyon ko pata nahi, because when they were small, teacher told them learn table of 2. They learned, they did not understand that. They learned 2 1 2, 2 2 4, without realizing if you add 2 5 times, it will become 10. And Chandhok Sahab, I am not speaking much. If you ask this question to even your teachers, believe me, 50 to 60% teachers will not be able to give the answer, because unko kabhi padhaya hi nahi ki multiplication is nothing, but how do you add or like how do you use the thing, So basically हमको सिखाया गया है.
पहले तो सर ये सिखाया जाता था कि you should know the table till 12 or 20. Now they say there's no need to learn the table.
No, everywhere Kelsey is there, सब कुछ है. So what happened is we were the victims of rote memory system. So हम उसे निकल नहीं पाए, No, you go to any school, even today I go for a lot of inspection, I talk to a lot of teachers. I take a lot of workshops. So first I said, okay, you teach a child alphabets. They say, yes. I said, then you start teaching A. A for, everybody says A for apple. मतलब आज से 50 साल पहले I was taught A for apple. After 50 years, people are teaching A for apple. Nobody is even thinking A for aeroplane, A for anything. You call A, apple, B, bat, C, cat.
Rote memorization.
5 साल पहले हम बनाया था, and 50 years back we are doing this. So because we are now changing ourselves, so things are becoming difficult, and that is the reason. See where we stand in PISA. Our PISA में हम क्यों problem आ रही है हमको? Why are we not able to compete? Because we are not able to clear the concept. So the only thing is, this is not difficult at this level. We make it difficult because we are not clearing the concept of the child. में उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता, because he has to learn and write the answer. Geography में he has to write the answer. Maths में you cannot learn under root 2 like I did. So मैंने तो 10th के बाद छोड़ दी maths. I said fine, I'm okay. I will do without maths. But it's not, living is not an issue. It's just a joke part. The thing is, the conceptual clarity is missing, so it becomes difficult. No, that's a different story. Why it is missing? Because the people who are teaching, like what Nirmal Shah was saying, 8th class teacher is not able to solve 6th class or 6th class. So problem kya ho raha hai? The teachers, they are not coming to the level of the child. The questions paper which they are making is making a bit high level. So what happens? There is a mismatch. Examinations are always meant to promote a child. Examination is never meant to fail a child. But in India, we make examination to fail a child. हम सोचते हैं कि people come to me, sir, this is my question paper. Sir, ये other teachers are, they are not able to solve it. यार तू paper किसके लिए बना रहा है? To fail your fellow colleagues, or to fail the other tuition teachers of your city, or you want to prove this is the most difficult paper coming in Jaipur city? उससे क्या हो जाएगा? Who is at loss? The students have the fear, so they up, and it becomes a most important subject of tuition. Okay, so and what happens is, if you make it difficult, people have no option, they start going for tuition. So every city will have all tuition center, max and tuition center, and वो लंबी कहानी है, dummy school and all that. But this is what is I feel, sir. I don't know I'm right or wrong, but my feeling is this.
You are absolutely right, sir, because the concepts are not clear. That's the example I do take. Greengrocer coming to your lane and ma'am, if Rita ma'am, you're taking, say, give this 1 kg, the 5 kg, this 250 grams, this 100 grams. That illiterate person within few seconds will tell you how much money you have to pay to him. But at the very same time, if you give that question in a word problem to a child, he will start using a formula. Suppose remember only one formula only all the time. A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB. The child is not knowing why he's using it. Why are I using this? Again, the same thing, under root 2 learn kiya tha, 3 to learn nahi kiya tha. Ye to out of syllabus hai. So why this has to be done and why this has to be done, this is also very important to be cleared when you are coming with.
Because we don't create interest. Like, for example, due regards, you talk to any girl or lady, she must be wearing a gold chain, something like it, okay? Sorry, madam, nahi pehni hui gold chain. Ask the teacher or lady or girl to take out the chain and ask her to wait. She will tell, sir, ye 1 tole ki hai, sir, 1.5 tole ki hai, because uska interest hai. And the moment you give a remote to the person and say, tell me what is the weight, वो weight नहीं पता उसको, because he has not learned or felt what is weight. Gold में उसका interest है. Also, she knows the weight, 70 gram की है, जो भी है. I don't have much interest because ladies have interest, gold में.
Sir, another thing is, sir, the children, they don't ask questions inside the class because they know that others make fool of him, fun of them. Because अरे तुमको ये नहीं आता, you don't know this, so they hesitate. And many things are there if the teachers तुमको ये नहीं आता, you don't know this. So out of fear also, students, they don't ask question, and that they keep on moving back and gradually it becomes a phobia. Right, sir? Thank you so much, sir. Ashok, sir. Wonderful talking to you. We'll come up to Reeta ma'am. Reeta ma'am, we will also like to know your views about the saying that mathematics becomes all of a sudden in middle school becomes a burden for the students instead of fun, which they were enjoying till class 5.
Yeah, very nice, very truly said by Ashok sir, that as they do not understand the concept, that is the basic reason for creating phobia for maths. As sir said, tables you have to learn. But if they have been taught that what is table is the repeated addition is the multiplication. What is table? That is repeated addition. Even if the child doesn't know the table, doesn't wrote, memorization is not there. Even if he doesn't know, he can solve the problem if he has the concept that repeated addition can also be used in place of multiplication. But we don't give such kind of concepts to the children right in the beginning. Today I have seen the result of class 10th and 12th of most of the schools. Minimum numbers the students got is the subject mathematics. It means that phobia is getting universal to everyone. Hardly few students are there, those who love doing maths. In class of 40, if you see that hardly 1 or 2 children are there. If you see the complete work profile of your students doing the maths homework and classwork, hardly 1 or 2% are doing it. Otherwise, they just keep creeping. I really don't understand how to manage. Though we have, in our school, we have started many activities related to maths, like we don't give them the tables to write. While going up and down the stairs, they have to learn the tables 1 by 2 by 4 by 6. This is the way we are trying to teach them so that they should not have the maths phobia. But still, Mr. Chandhok, I must say that our teachers have to change their strategies. Use of maths lab, we all have. I must say it's very true that all of us have the maths lab there in the school. But how many of us are using it to its fullest? If we use the maths lab, show the children happening maths in the lab itself, I think we can give them more concepts. Reason behind, we teach them fractions, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 5. they can use the paper, they can fold it, they can know ki 1 by 2 is this. But we give all the concepts in the airs only on the blackboard, and we want that our children must learn it. And they, in fact, we are giving them the rote memorization. Children are not at fault, they are just a slate. We are writing it in a wrong method. I must say our teachers should change. We should be very particular with maths teachers, especially right in the beginning, when the students start juggling with the numbers. If in the beginning the concepts will be clear, fine. Suppose, I must say that junior KG children, if we are teaching 2 plus 2 is 4, can't they keep two students at one side, two students at one side, and then they can assemble them, or they can teach them the minus kind of by deleting them to in different groups, or arranging them in different pattern. But we don't take that much in junior KG, senior KG, so we do. But by the time child is in class 1 onwards, I don't think that we bother for it. We just want 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. That's it. Question is been done. Answer is right to right, wrong to wrong. But that doesn't interest to a child. We have to think, this is the time we have to think how to make it interesting. In our school, teachers are working a little harder on it. While teaching angles, we are using the doors. That makes the angles. With the movement of the doors, we teach them the angles. The A plus, like he was saying, A plus B is equal to 4, and that. So we are using the students. One is A, the other one is B, is equal to, if they both combine together, will be AB plus, AB minus, whatever the calculations they have. But one thing I must say this also, that as being we have very limited time, but we are rushing with the syllabus. I must say we are rushing with the syllabus. If we get a little pause and we get the liberty to do even better, and we have interest in our children, in their working, definitely we can overcome this phobia of maths. And that also right from the very beginning, if we do maths with activities, if we do maths with applied methods, if the children know that what we are learning today is going to be applicable tomorrow, I think that will really create an interest. Going to the market and purchasing the things and giving the money to this can't we as parent help our children. Why only teacher is being given the responsibility to teach interest, sum of interest, and this rupees and paisa and all. We parents also have that responsibility. If we give them small concepts, I think along with and we coordinate with the teachers, I think we can overcome with this problem.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Wonderful. Nirmal sir, I'll come back directly to you first. You see that as ma'am has told, Rita ma'am has told, that these are problems that there are concepts. She is following up so many activities with that. How as we say that a teacher says in 40 minutes class with the 40 students, we cannot give attention to all the students. How are these apps like Countingwell helping to make it 40 teachers to a 40 student? And the second thing is, the most important thing we want to understand is, again, the question is that suppose a child has come in grade 8 and during the pandemic, he was in grade 6 and 7. All the exams were done by Google Baba, but maths cannot be helped out. No. His learning app has come, especially in the mathematics. How is the app helping in that also? Please let us know.
Sure, sir. So first thing, I think the point that ma'am made,
40 to 40, yeah.
40 to 40. And before that, what Rita ma'am made the point that we have no choice but to rush through the syllabus. And she said, I wish we had more time. And that's very right? So because of that quantity of syllabus, it is just practically impossible for the teacher to give that one-to-one attention to every child every day or in every class, right? If you see, if there are 40 children in the classroom, first 5 to 10 minutes are gone in taking the attendance. So, where is the question of, spending additional time to give them that personalized attention? So this is where an app like Countingwell can figure in, right? Because what we can do is that the way we have structured it is that the teacher would to the child for whatever has been taught today. Now, as part of that homework, what the child does is that they would go home and try to complete the homework. As they do that, we identify what they have got wrong. So we start identifying what are their misconceptions. We start identifying what are the skill gaps. So, for example, like I said, if they don't have the language comprehension ability, or if they do not have the modeling skills, then we identify that, and then we try to plug that gap right there. So we become that first line of remedial. Now this is where that one-to-one teaching comes, right? So what that teacher did was she taught the whole concept in the class and said, go home, do this as homework, and wherever those gaps are, now you get that one-to-one teaching. So we are able to do that one-to-one teaching directly through the app to the child. Every child has personalized learning because every child will have different gaps, and based on
Sir, I'll just intervene. You want to say that if the child is not able to ask questions inside the class because others will make fun of him. So here, when he's using the app at his convenience at any time during 24/7, he is getting a personalized attention because he's knowing there is only himself and mobile.
Absolutely. So that is one part, right? That
So he won't hesitate to ask the questions.
that he won't have the fear of being ridiculed. I would not say hesitate to ask questions. It is also more of there should not be any hesitation or fear of being wrong, right? Now, what happens is that, especially with maths, there is always this fear that if I'm wrong, then people will brand me as stupid or, Buddhu or whatever. So
Right.
ideally, it is okay to be wrong, because if you're wrong, then somebody will figure it out and correct you. But if you don't even try to be wrong and just keep quiet, then nobody will correct you. So what we say that, okay, if you're wrong, no problem. We will tell you how to do it right. And then we will make you do it again. And we will come down to your level. See, the other thing which happens in the classroom is that the teacher has to kind of stick at some kind of an average, right? The teacher cannot say that I will teach the lowest level of the child or the smartest level of the child. She has to do something which is average. Now, there are children who are better. There are children who are not as good. So how do we do that kind of individualized or personalized attention as well, where we go down to the level of the child and we say that, okay, you have not even understood what is this topic. So let me clear that first, and then we will try to do something more complex. So you have to come down to that level. And obviously, it is not practical for the teacher to do that for every child in every class. And finally, the most important is that, if every child, all the 40 children are asking doubts, there is definitely going to be a kind of frustration creeping in, right? The teacher is also going to say that mere se nahi ho raha hai. There's too much going on. So how do we also help the teacher overcome that? Because, an app or any kind of technology will never get tired. The child will ask the same question 10 times. The child makes the same mistake 10 times. The app will keep repeating. The app will not get frustrated. The app will not say that you have asked me this 5 times, I'm not going to help you anymore. You go figure it out on your own, right? It will still say, yes, let's try it again. Let's try it again. So that is where this kind of a blend helps, where you do that initial teaching in the classroom, and then the app is essentially supposed to do confidence building of the child. Where the child is going wrong, we say, no problem. If you're wrong, I will help you fix it. Let's learn. If you're wrong again, I will help you fix it again. Let's learn. So that child starts becoming confident that, yes, I can do it. I can learn. I can correct myself. And nobody else is watching. So, I'm not embarrassed of having made that mistake.
Okay, what about that gap which has happened in 2 years? How, suppose a child has to do something in trigonometry in class 8, but he has not done in 6th and 7th. How are you doing with that?
So that's the other power of technology, right? So what we are able to do is that through our assessment, so as they answer these questions, we do multiple levels of data gathering. One is we gather data about the skills, whether they have the comprehension skill, whether they have the modeling skill, whether they have the calculation. Second is we check their conceptual knowledge. Do they have the conceptual knowledge about this topic? Third, we create a chain of these topics to the previous years. So what we do is we say that if you don't have a conceptual knowledge of this topic, is it because you don't know this, or is it because you don't know something related from the previous year? So if you don't know something, then we would ask you a question from your last year. And if you don't know that, we will go back 1 year further until the point where we know that this is what you know and the next year's topic is what you don't know. So we have to teach you that. So if you are in 8th grade and you did not know something of 7th grade, we will teach that, we will put that as part of your learning, and then come back to 8th grade. So that way, that learning deficit will also get filled.
That means you started the topic with grade 6. When he's able to do that, you come up to 7th, and then you come up to 8th, where the learning gap has happened from the basic of the topic till it has come up to class 8. You just
We start from 8th. So if let's say I'm in 8th, I would first get the question of my 8th grade, right? Whatever I'm learning.
right.
If I get it wrong,
Right.
then the system app would check that is there
7th.
a topic which I did not know. I'll ask the 7th grade question. If I get that wrong,
Right.
a 6th grade question will pop up. If I get that right, then I know that I know 6th, but I don't know 7th. So come back
So
to
it will go till the root. It will go to the root where the problem has started. Right. That's amazing thing. Thank you so much, sir. Sunitha ma'am, will come up to you. Ma'am, we want to know what is your opinion regarding that? Why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics?
So after hearing to Ashok sir, Reeta ma'am, and sir too, what I feel is, first thing is coming from promoting or graduating from a primary level to the middle school level itself is a drastic change for the children, because they have the homeroom teacher, one teacher handling, and personal touch. They be with the teacher all the time. But as they when come to the middle school, that is a drastic change where they get to see it may be a mathematics or from EVS to physics, chemistry, biology, a different set of books. All that together, it's a lot of change for them. This is one part of it when it comes to the education. But when it comes to the as a person, there will be so many changes like physical change, mental change in the body itself and all. So all together, it will be toughest for the child to balance. That is when I feel that the teacher has to play a vital role in making them to understand rather than a rote learn or anything, going near to them to their level. Like sir, he explained saying that whenever there is a concept is being done, if the child is not good with that, going to the lower level, then to the lower level. As a school, in our school, what we do is whenever we introduce any topic, we make sure that we have a prior knowledge assessment, like to what extent the child is good with a particular concept. So once we get to know out of 25 students in the classroom, 20 of them are good with the concept that they can take it ahead. But if there are only 5 could answer and rest of 20 of them couldn't connect with that, that there is a problem. So that is when the teacher has to start from there, and step by step is what she has to take it and make them comfortable. Another thing what I feel is books won't help. The conceptual understanding is very important. Connecting to the life skills. Like if at all, if you're going to using a trigonometry, where this trigonometry is going to be useful in day-to-day life, that has to be a clarity. That's why in our school, we never have any math classes in the classroom. We just bring them out in a playground, making them to understand if they are doing with connected with that or any instruments or whatever it is. All the classes, whatever we do, we make sure that there is a strategy behind that, making them to understand what concept they are. So once the concept is very clear, understanding that how this is being connected to the real life, there is a lot of clarity for the child. And if there is a clarity, whatever they do, the skill development followed by it is going to be a one what the teacher expects. And at the same time, while doing the assessments also, one size doesn't fit for everyone. According to every needs, we have to tailor make them. Maybe it in the classroom, the teaching in the classroom also. I can't just take one size of socks and make everyone to wear. Everyone has their own needs. So when I make my plan, what I want to teach in the classroom, the conceptual understanding, it has to be for the different levels. So as a class, I can have one, but I am going to have the students who are not up to the mark with the age, with the grade level, and the students who are going to be beyond 2. So what my strategies are going to address the 3 levels of the students in the classroom. And that is how, and another very important thing is there must not be a distance between a teacher and a student or by office. The teacher has to hop into the students, see how they are doing it, whether what I'm doing it, whether everyone are able to. Is there any gap between any child who needs them? Once where the teacher goes near to the groups and making them to see like what is going on, where their help is needed and all, I think that will really make them to come out with the phobia of saying that I can't do math and math is really a difficult subject is what I feel. So generally, this is how we do it in our school.
That's great, ma'am. But I was just thinking when you were saying that if the 20 are able to follow that concept and 5 are left, the teacher will go ahead with the concept and the next concept. If it is not clear to 20 and clear to 5 only, then again he'll explain that.
Yes.
But our aim should be all the 25 should get the concept cleared. And at the very same time, Nirmal sir, I'll also like to question this to you, that because all the time you cannot have that places that ma'am has used that particular painting for on the door that you measure the angles, the steps they are written on that, the tables written on that. Likewise, we are doing it. We are having different shapes. All the things are not available all the time. And do you have such type of audio visual type of videos where you explain, because we say that you cannot go and see the world, but now with the technology you can go and see the world in one laptop on a one device also. So are you have you put something into that? But if we don't have these type of tools with us, so are there any audio visual sort of things where the children are getting? Because basically what I've understood, what everybody wants to say it, that practical approach should be taken, practical examples should be taken. Like sir or ma'am was saying that the child should be given money and should be told that these things you have to bring from the market, and you just have to give me that result, that how much money have you spent it everywhere and what is the total money you expended. But that will be the same like a word problem. So everything is not possible all the time. So like in apps also, have you created those things, that practical examples you are giving to the children, the practical audio visual things? You remember when we had these smart classes, so we used to tell to the parents that what is the difference with the smart classes you'll make. तो हम उनको समझाते थे कि अगर रामायण आप पढ़ते हो आपको जल्दी आती है, कि रामायण आप रामानंद सागर की टीवी पे देखते हो वो जल्दी आती है, तो कैसे देखते हो जल्दी आती है. तो like when we have an audio and visual sort of learning, that is more easy and comfortable with the students to get it. So like now the things have changed much more than that. It's not only what you are going to teach through these these things, but in fact you will get the output of that also, how much the child is able to understand or learn that. Any subject it has come on artificial intelligence based learning, which has come for sure. So sir, have you added these type of things, like children need gamification, children needs certain incentive or motivation? Have you added that in your app?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is a very important aspect of that technology, right? That you can do so many things. So obviously audiovisual is the most, actually speaking, the easiest thing to do, right? You just put a bunch of videos and the child can start seeing things in action. One of the other interesting things we did was that instead of simply putting up a video or simply putting up a text and saying that, this is what the concept is, which is what you would see in the textbook, right? So we don't want to just make a copy of the textbook or make a video of the textbook. That's not the purpose, because that is already happening. So what else could we do? So what we did was that we made that whole learning process on the app participative. So what we did was, instead of simply saying that here is all the information, triangle is a closed figure, triangle has 3 sides, triangle has 3 angles, that's what is there in the textbook already. So why are we doing this on the app, right? So instead of that, what we did was that we started saying that, look at this samosa. What does it remind you of, right? Now, instead of saying that samosa is like a triangle, we said, here is a samosa. What does it remind you of? So now what happens is that we make the child to think, and we make the child to participate in that learning. Now the child has to answer before he or she moves forward. So now what happens is that the child has to pay attention, one. And second, the child starts feeling that they're discovering all these concepts. Now, this was a very simplistic example. We do this with polynomials also, right? Now, when we do this, what happens is that the child starts feeling that they are able to self-learn. They become self-learners and they become confident self-learners. So this way, the whole learning process becomes very, very participative. So one, of course, we cover this thing in the audiovisual aspect, that you see things in action. But second is that we make them participate in that learning process. And finally, the third thing which was brought up is also that there has to be some kind of a learning involved, right? Learning in the sense that it has to be involved with the real life applications of mathematics. So what we have done, for example, is we have created these courses. There is a course on foundations of data science. Then there is another course on mathematical foundations of financial literacy. What we do is that we link their financial literacy concepts with mathematics. So for example, simple thing like compound interest, right? Now they learn compound interest. Do they know that if you do compounding every year, you will earn some interest additional. But if you do compounding every 6 months, it will become even more. Or if you do compounding every 3 months, it will become even more. So you can accumulate interest in this way. So this compound interest which you have learned, there is a real financial implication to that, right? So, or for example, when you take something on credit card and you start paying interest from day one, there is a daily interest which is getting charged. So how do the children realize all these kind of things? So we have created courses around that. So now you are relating these math topics. Data handling is another very interesting example, right? You do data handling, you draw graphs, you draw charts, pie chart. Now, what is the purpose of all this? So what we have done is we have created all these examples in the course where you are looking at a chart and trying to interpret that data. So when you interpret, you realize the value of all this data handling that you have learned. So that is the other way that we bring, mix all of these kind of things into that whole learning process.
Interesting. Thank you so much, sir. That's a beautiful topic to talk about a lot, but we are in shortage of time. We'll come up to the next round and request everybody to have a very short and precise answer. I'll come up to Ashok Vaid, sir. Sir, we would like to know views on this, saying that how does technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy?
Well, when you talk very precise, yes, definitely technology is something which has to be used very carefully. So people should understand that technology is not a replacement of a teacher. It is not substituting a teacher. It is only enhancing his skills. Okay, like these days when we are using a lot of technology and like sir is talking about apps and other things, when we see on the smart classes, basically when you use that artificial intelligence kind of a thing with a data science thing with the maths, it becomes more easy and it becomes more interesting, easy, interesting. And what happens is what you actually do. Basic story is you should learn, you should relate with practical field of life. You should know where can you apply Pythagoras theorem. You're sitting in the room and you're sitting, Pythagoras theorem will not take you anywhere. Like what the example sir was giving was a compound interest. So if they really take out the compound interest and if they talk about the father passbook or they talk about some loan, they will learn it. Learning, doing, and in that case, technology definitely is useful. But yes, it has to be used in an optimum way so that the human effect is always there, so that one-to-one effect is always there, because machine is a machine ultimately, isn't it?
Absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right.
Because I have to leave for because there are some interviews we have kept at 7 o'clock. So I'm very
sir, only 5 minutes more, sir. But yeah. The third part is very important, which you will enjoy for sure. We'll come up fast to Reeta ma'am. Also, Reeta ma'am, your precise answer on the same topic, that technology. How does technology help the students to make it more interesting and easy?
Sarabpreet, I must say that technology really helps, as we were talking about the maths lab. In fact, in our school, we have the smart classes also. For teaching maths, I think it is really helpful because when they see the things, they understand it better. Like the geometrical figures, when we talk about three-dimensional figures, when we talk about the different fractions or all, if they have been given the demonstration on the board with the help of this technology, as we have in our school, Teach Next and the different math apps also we have, when we show it to the children, then it really helps and they don't forget it easily. As we all know that more sense organs involved in some work, more retention is there. So that really helps. But the thing is, we have to have a check on our teachers also, how they are using. They should not be used technology as their substitution, but it should be an applied or helping tool for the teachers to teach them the different concepts. So I think yes, technology helps.
Yes.
And
ma'am, this question will go to Nirmal sir, that how Countingwell is having a check on the teachers also, that they are doing and how they are. It is like the
not
teachers.
Like they should run the video and children are learning.
No, for some time when you're after them, they are doing it, and afterwards the same thing is happening. So Nirmal sir, you will just tell after Sunitha ma'am that how you're checking that, how the reports are going to the teachers, and how some man he already told in few sessions before also, the report goes to the teacher, to the administrator, to you also, as well as to the parents also, that how much the child is doing, so that you can catch hold of the student also, and all, and parents and the teacher also. That is a very good thing, sir will tell after Sunitha ma'am. Sunitha ma'am, we'd like to know your views on the saying that it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
So what I feel is learning means it happens only because of the pressure. What I feel is it may be the parents or from a teacher, because the way we communicate. For example, the way you communicate, the things also will happen. Most of the thing that you're going to do the board exam, you have to do well, these many sums and all. That pressure really makes the students to get into the unnecessary things where they have to rote learn and all. Rather than that, if they tell them that, okay, anyway, you're going to do the board exam, but at the same time, understanding the concept of is very important, so that you can do in 101. If the concept is clear, and if you spend a lot of time in understanding that, the skill development, the way you're going to do is what is your result. So that depends on the teachers, the way they instruct them, the way they make them to understand the conceptual understanding, how it plays a vital role to understand the concept than the rote learn, which doesn't help them in any ways. So that depends completely on the teacher, the way she takes it.
Absolutely right, ma'am.
And even the parents also is what I feel. It's time and then we have to even educate the parents also, saying that, okay, it's very important to make them to understand that they're going to do the board exam or whatever it is, but not at the cost of saying that you have to do well board exam. So that pressure, we must not give it to the students, is what I feel.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Nirmal sir, I'll come up to you gradually, because the only problem is that how the teachers can be checked, that how they are looking after labs. Like Rita man told, labs are over there, all the labs are over there, all the apps are over there. You know, how the performance is going on. Is it being looked on properly by the teachers, or the feedback is taken proper? How are you doing that into that? How are that, the report of that student is coming up to the teachers as well as to the parents, administrators, how it is functioning?
So I'll be very quick, but two things. One is that we have to make sure, what everybody said is very right, especially Ashok sir and Reeta ma'am, that teacher is irreplaceable, right? You cannot switch the teacher out and say that teacher is gone, app or technology or a video is going to teach the child. If it was that easy, then children would have watched movies and learned, right? It doesn't work like that. You need that teacher in your life as a human presence, but also as somebody who guides you, who looks at you and realizes that you are making a mistake and corrects you. Now, where does technology play the role? It plays a role where one is that something is repetitive, right? When we are trying to do repetitive things, you can hand it off to technology, because teacher does not have to do this repetitively and get tired. Second is, when you have a lot of data, then it becomes very difficult for humans to crunch numbers. Humans are not made to crunch numbers. We are emotional people, right? So when we have a lot of data, then it becomes very difficult for us to make sense out of it. And technology can make that sense for you. So, for example, what we have done is that the way we have created this full cycle is that the teacher just assigns the homework to the child, right? And when the child does the homework, every answer that the child gives, we capture data. We say that, have they got this conceptual knowledge? Have they got this skill? Have they got this prior knowledge? All of that. Now, all of this data is put together and shown to the teacher in a very, very simple report. So next day, when the teacher is looking at the report of the homework, the teacher knows that yesterday I taught these three concepts, and out of these three concepts, there were about 8 or 10 learning outcomes which were supposed to be achieved. And these are the number of children who have achieved so many learning outcomes. These are the children who have not achieved so many learning outcomes. So for
on the WhatsApp also, you have started that also to make it more easy.
One part is that now we have got all this data available to the teacher to make those decisions, but the teacher does not have to assign the homework. They just have to say, give homework. They don't have to create questions. They don't have to correct the answers. All of that is done by technology, right? Second part is that we realize is that we still asking teachers that, they have to go log into the system and assign the homework, come back, log in, download the report, all of that. Now that is again becoming an additional burden on the teacher. It is an administrative burden. We don't want the administrative burden on the teacher, right? So what we did was we integrated WhatsApp into this whole thing. So now, for example, in one of the schools we just did this last week, is that they said that we want to keep Saturdays as a Countingwell homework day. So we don't want them to do it every day. Let's just the children do it on every Saturday. So what we do is that every Friday afternoon, we send a WhatsApp message to the teacher that your next homework is ready. Assign the homework. They just tap assign on that WhatsApp message. Only 4 buttons are there. They just have to pick the chapter concept and say assign homework, and it is done. The teacher does not have to log in anywhere because that message is gone to a specific teacher on the specific mobile phone. The only that class will be assigned the homework. So there is no login involved. Second, as soon as the children complete the homework, the teacher gets the data back on WhatsApp. So again, they don't have to go back, log in, check anything. So now we have made that whole process so simple for the teacher.
Very easy, huh? Very easy for them. Sir, the last 1 minute answer we need, the 20 minutes concept you have, because the parents say if you give the mobile to the children, they become addicted to it.
Yes, and this is something Ashok sir also brought up, right? That technology should not be overused. Ultimately, one part is that yes, teacher is critical, but also that that screen time, the whole thing, we have to reduce. Even I am myself concerned how much screen time my son uses. So what we did was that we broke down the whole chapter into a number of learning outcomes. So every chapter has about anywhere between 15 to 20 learning outcomes. And each of those learning outcomes now has about 5 to 7 minutes of associated learning content. So what we do is we say that today you just do 3 to 4 learning outcomes. You will spend 20 minutes and that is enough. In those 20 minutes, you have achieved 3 or 4 learning outcomes. That is good enough. At that speed, in 6 months, you will complete your full mathematics syllabus, and which is something children have been able to achieve, right?
That is very good. That is very good, sir.
20 minutes every day, get it done. That's it.
That is very good, sir, because the teacher comes into the class and does the questions, all of 4 or 5 questions in 2 periods and says, okay, 3 or 4 exercises are over. But when gradually the child is doing for 20 minutes every day, 3 to 4 learnings in small, installments, so that keeps into mind. All of it together, a teacher gives all the learnings together. That is why he's not able to understand and mixes up. But that is a very good thing. And another thing, the 20 minutes concept is very beautiful, sir, because the addiction is not there. The parents are not able to complain कि हमारा बच्चा मोबाइल लेके बैठ रहता है. 20 minutes का concept है 20 minutes के बाद. And the very same time, the teacher doesn't has to make the sheets and all. Just he has to click a button and you check that also. So there he can give more concentration towards the teaching to the students. Or these are miscellaneous works you are doing through the app. But that is helping our teachers a lot, as well as it is giving confidence to the students also. Hats off to yourself so much. So you got the courage of taking up mathematics as a subject and taking out an app for the middle schoolers. And I believe this thing should go to the whole world, because this is a universal problem. That's a wonderful thing, sir. In shortage of time. Yes, sir.
Get it across India for sure. Yes, we want to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the best to you. We will help you out to move to all over India, because हमारे टाइम 40 साल 50 साल के बहुत पहले से ये प्रॉब्लम चलती आ रही है, and that has to be removed. Coming up to the last part of the session, I'm so sorry we have made it very late, Ashok sir, you also. Before parting, we have a surprise round that everybody who is over here has to sing 2 lines. This is a me time for the last 5 to 7 minutes, where Ashok sir is a very gentleman, and he will sing 2 lines first, then he'll go. Or
sorry, you want me to sing a song?
Sir, 2 lines only, sir. ज़्यादा नहीं सुनेंगे हम. Everybody will sing, sir. Don't worry, sir. That's the concept of the show.
No, that means you
sir. Throughout the day we have so much stress. We should have a me time before partying. This is the concept we are having in the show, which we are making it a little different from the other shows.
Okay. I'll try.
Sir, तुसी ते पंजाबी हो, sir. 2 लाइन ते गा सकते हो.
हाँ. तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी, हैरान हूँ मैं तेरे मासूम सवालों से, परेशान हूँ मैं, परेशान हूँ. I think so.
सर, आप हर बच्चे को देख के बोलते होंगे आप तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी, और and you want to help him all the way. But it is a very appropriate song according to the concept, sir. Beautiful voice you have, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sunitha ma'am, will come up to you, and if something regional, if you can sing, ma'am. it will be, it is a request to you.
Okay, from you want from something from Telugu?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe I think maybe someone can take it up before that. I'll give me just 2 minutes time. I'll think what can be from the region.
Okay, we'll come up to Reeta ma'am by that time. Reeta ma'am is already a all-rounder.
Singing that you didn't inform us earlier so that we should feel
True, Reeta
Ma'am,
ma'am.
we are not I am not informing because if I inform, so you may back up also.
Okay, as we know, very recently we lost Mr. Bhupender Singh, one of the best. In fact, he was really very favorite singer of mine. Yesterday only, I was just listening to his song "Kabhi Kisi Ko Mukammal Jahan."
Oh, very good.
If I say it in the form of rhyme, will it do? Or you want me to sing?
Ma'am, you have to sing, ma'am. That will become out of syllabus then.
Oh, that is out of syllabus, I know.
Sing.
Anyway, I'll sing the way I can.
Sure, ma'am.
I will try my level best. कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, कहीं ज़मीं तो कहीं आसमां नहीं मिलता, तेरे जहान में ऐसा नहीं कि प्यार न हो, तेरे जहान में ऐसा नहीं कि प्यार न हो, जहाँ उम्मीद हो इसकी वहाँ नहीं मिलता कभी किसी. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm talking to the people of Indian Idol to start up a season with the educationist. And ma'am, you are going to the finals directly, ma'am. Wonderful voice you have, such a hidden talent.
Yes.
Ma'am, I don't say to everyone, ma'am.
Song is really very good, though I can't
It's
sing.
very good.
But the song is very good. Lyrics are very good.
I remember.
It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful voice you have, ma'am. Wonderful voice you have, ma'am. You're going to the finals, ma'am, for sure.
I know.
Thank you, ma'am. Sunitha, ma'am, we coming up to you now.
Yes. Vedanna doshinche Godavari Amaradhamalle Shobille Rajamahendri Dasabdala Charitagala Sundara Nagaram Dasabdala Charitagala Sundara Nagaram Gata Vaivava Deeptulato Kammani Kavyam Vedanna Goshinche Godavari Amaradhamalle Shobille Rajamahendri.
Ma'am, can you translate? It was actually a devoted song, I think. Devotional song.
Description
but
about
a little translation if you can do, ma'am.
It's a description about a place near to Andhra Pradesh. It's Rajamahendravaram. It's full of the poets like Nannaya, Erranna, Tikkanna. These are the greatest poets of Telugu literature. They are born there. So it speaks about the particular of the poets, the place around, the water flow of water, everything together.
Amazing, ma'am. Wonderful. Ma'am, at least you are going up to the quarterfinals for sure, ma'am. We have said Reeta ma'am is going to the finals directly for sure. That has been decided.
Yeah.
I have a fixing with the Indian Idol people. They told me, you tell me who will go into the finals and quarterfinals. Nirmal sir, before parting, you are also needed, sir. You are also a good singer now. Gradually, you have become a good singer now, coming up to the shows, sir.
Okay, so one song about ratios. How about that?
Okay. Ratios.
पे दुखी हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, दुखी पे दुखी हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, गौर से देखा जाए तो बस है पत्ते पे पत्ता, कोई फर्क नहीं अलबत्ता, कोई फर्क नहीं अलबत्ता.
सर फर्क तो बहुत है, फर्क तो बहुत है सर. फर्क ही तो करना है हमको. We have to do that. Excellent, sir. Nirmal sir, excellent. You have also sung a appropriate song related to the mathematics. That is the quality of an expert, sir.
Totally dedicated to maths.
Yeah.
Totally dedicated to maths. No, ma'am, the people who are already using the app, they have told that there's a lot of drastic changing among the students.
Definitely.
Because the only problem the students are facing it, ma'am, they don't ask the questions in the class. It is a problem of the teachers.
Never come up.
As,
They come up.
they don't come up. कि बेइज्जती हो जाएगी, वो मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे सब लोग, मैं नहीं पूछूंगा स्कूल में जाके. This is also a problem. And now when they're sitting and with a mobile at their comfort, अकेले बैठे और ऐप से बात कर रहे हैं और ऐप उसको हेल्प कर रही है, that they feel very comfortable. So these were not things in our time, but now these AI-based technology has come, and people like Nirmal Shah sir, they have come up with these beautiful products where they are helping the students and the teachers. Their teachers cannot be replaced at all. But these are only the tools which are going to make the teachers more smarter, because the students have also become very smart now. So that is very important thing which sir has given. And the very important thing is sir is having some sort of competition where he's going to give a 7-foot tall. Sir, please tell what is that?
So one of the other things to motivate the children, we keep doing these different competitions, right? Throughout the year, we do
everything free. If I'm not wrong,
we give prizes, right? But
you are in fact you are giving money to the students as a prizes.
Yeah. So idea is that we want to encourage them to learn. So as part of that competition, we also make them go through a learning process. So they have to learn, and it is usually aligned with what they do in the class. So for example, right now what we have covers the first 2 chapters, because that's what their session is currently. Usually that's what it covers, right? So they have to learn that, and then the competition will be on those 2 chapters. And we cover a lot of higher order thinking questions. So one is that, we make them think in those direction. And the second is that always these competitions are the things which motivate them, right? So for example, this one, what we are doing is the winning school will get a 7-foot tall trophy. We call it the Ramanujan Match Trophy, and that big trophy will come to the school. So the school is very enthusiastic, and the children are also very enthusiastic about it.
So it will come by train or by truck, sir. So 7-foot big trophy, that is quite a.
It has to be a helicopter, and it has to be dropped onto the school.
One thing I like the way you shared, sir. Sorry to disturb you. The way you are talked about saying that from an exemplar going to the baseline, and again seeing the level of the student, that concept is really good, because we don't get that part.
Yeah.
And another part, what you explained also really, that is very important need of the hour is the skill development. Concepts anyway that can be done in the classroom by the teacher with the different strategies or activities. But for the skill development, the teacher has to spend a lot of time in creating the sums and all. That won't be possible, because 1 or 2 she can do by herself, max what she can is do. But in your case, the way you talked about the skill development, it's not that every teacher's of cup of tea, maybe 1 or 2, maybe in hundreds we may find, but this is really came out. Yes.
And screen time 20 minutes, all the things, the concepts are very good, which are very related. Bridging up the gap which happened in the last 2 years in the pandemic, that has to be also taken care of, and how the child is developing 3 to 4 things only being taught every day. It is very fine if a child does half an hour mathematics every day, he will become perfect in mathematics. The next day when he's coming up to the school, again, it won't be like in a 40 or 30 class, only 2 students are the toppers or are the very good at mathematics, other they are dull. और टीचर आता है, उन्हीं 2 को पढ़ा के चला जाता है, बस 2 तो 3 बच्चों को आगे जो बैठे उनको पढ़ा के चला जाता है. This thing has to be removed. I'm very serious about this thing. Why? Because this is a very big problem. Other problems we are talking about in other seasons also, but mathematics is a very big problem, and it is happening from ages from our time. Still going on, and it will keep on going like this. So this thing has to be removed, and we should see that what can we do for the kids. Are we going to use these type of AI technology based tools which are very protective for the kids also, and they are entertaining for them also, because a lot of gamifications they put up, like the child feels interest into studying that. That is very important. Thank you so much everyone for coming. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thank you, Nirmal sir, Sunitha ma'am, Reeta ma'am, and sir has Ashok sir has gone. He had some important meeting. Hope you had a wonderful time. Hope to see you another season and a session once again. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Welcome.